Hi guys! Hi everyone! Hello, hello! Hi Michelle! Hi Amy! Hope you guys are doing well. It feels like a weird day. I don't know. I have not worked in a few days, so I'm like, what day is it? What's happening? Is everything okay? My brain feels very discombobulated. But hi guys! Welcome to the March version of our monthly book club chatting. Me too. I'm only halfway through the City of Brass. Oops. No worries. We'll talk the beginning of the book in the beginning of this chat. That way, for those of you guys that don't want to hear spoilers, you guys can stay for a good portion of it. Let's see. Amy, you didn't finish it either. No worries. No worries. You guys still have plenty of time to finish it. As long as we can just chat a little bit about it, then that's no problem at all. Hi, Eleanor. Hi, Demi. I just hope you guys are doing well. How have you guys been? How has reading month been for you guys? We'll just chat a bit before we actually jump into talking about the books. You know what? At least you started it, Amy. No worries. For those of you guys that did finish it, Michelle, did you finish it? I would love to know what your star rating was for it. As you guys are kind of filling in the chat here with how you guys' month has been going. How many books have you guys read? Have you read anything that you really loved? Like, feel free to let me know. I have definitely read a couple of really, really good books this month. Most of them are smutty romance because I'm still on a smutty romance kick, but I really enjoyed City of Brass. I did read another 5-star book this month that I really enjoyed, so I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. And I'm like really tripping out about my shirt every time I look at myself in the thing. I'm like, this is such a fall shirt, but it was calling my name, and I just felt like I needed to wear it. Let's see. I finished the audiobook before my kids arrived at school the other day, and I was shook. Yes. The ending was wild, for sure. I will definitely say that the first 200 pages, that was wild for me. It was such a hard time for me to get into it. I really thought that I was not going to end up liking the book, but the first 200 pages were rough, and then everything after that I really, really enjoyed. Finished The House in the Cerulean Sea, though, and loved it. I'm so glad you finished it, and so glad that you loved it. That was such a fantastic book. My goodness. Slow month so far, end of college semester, so I'm very busy. That I understand. I'm only getting a lot of reading done because I'm not working as much, which has been very interesting. I've never worked so little amount of hours in my life, and so I'm like, what do I do? What do I do with this time? Other than the time when I got laid off, but like actually working and like having so many days off is just so strange. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining, but it's just weird to like try to figure out what to do with my time. So, but I hope that your college semester is going well and that everything is, working out the way that it should. School's no joke. I did one semester and I was like, never again. No one can do it. Eleanor, I would love to know what your star rating was for the book since you did end up finishing it. Please feel free to let me know. And then as for Thunderhead, I did finish Thunderhead this morning and definitely disappointed. I will say that. I won't go into spoilers too much because this wasn't actually a for sure book club pick, so we'll just talk about this one more in general. But I definitely was disappointed by the book quite a bit. So, I finished the book very early in the month, but I gave it a 5-star. Yay! I'm so glad that you read it and enjoyed it. I finished it actually quite a while ago. During the Spring Into Reading-a-thon, I finished the book, and it's definitely, I didn't quite give it a 5-star. I think it was really rough for me in the first 200 pages, which hindered my experience of wanting to give it a 5-star. But I did really enjoy it. I ended up giving it like a 4-star, and if Goodreads did half stars, and I would have given it a 4.5. It was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. I definitely really enjoyed the characters, and I felt like it was a little bit of a Arabian Nights retelling, which I enjoyed. Please correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. I thought the political intrigue there was a bit confusing for me at the beginning, but once you get into it and like learn the characters and how the politics works and how this world is put together, then it's so much fun to see the story evolve and change and really become what it was. And that was really fun to see. And Celia, did you also read Thunderhead this month or just City of Brass? Let's see. My reading month has been a bit off because of so much university stuff and my application for my master's next year. Hopefully it will be a better month. Well, that does sound very, very busy. Hopefully everything goes great with your application, and congratulations on going for a master's. Like, that's awesome. Way to go. Hi. I love the little waving hands. Those are so cute. Yeah, for those of you guys that have full-time jobs, kids, read, and go to school, how do you live? That's my question. And for even people that don't have kids and just go to school and work and read, and how do you manage your time? I can barely manage my time now, and I have all this freaking free time. I'm so happy that you like the City of Brass. Me too. I think that back-to-back books that are good during these book clubs is exactly what I wanted. So I'm just glad that the last 2 books have been really good, and I'm really hoping that the 3rd month is going to be just as good. We're reading Furyborn next month, so I'm really excited for that one, but nervous because I've heard some mixed reviews on that one. So 4 stars for me. Also, the writing style low-key reminded me of the Game of Thrones books. I've never read the Game of Thrones books, so I wouldn't know how that comparison, actually works for the books. But yeah, I definitely felt like it was very heavy on the political intrigue, and for me as a reader, that's not always the most fun to read about, especially when it's super, super intense like this book was. So yeah, I thought it was very interesting to get into it, but I really enjoyed it after a little while. Didn't get to Thunderhead, unfortunately. Had to take off 8 books from my TBR this month. Really want to read it soon, though. That I understand. I only finished my TBR because it was so short this month. The fact that I still read. I'm at 14 books, going on 15, but I'm surprised that I read this much because I'm still kind of in the middle of my slump. I'm still feeling a little slumpy, not like in a full slump mode, but like video stuff like just has not been getting done, and so I'm kind of just rolling with the punches and taking it as it comes in. So I 100% get it. But yeah, I don't know if I told you guys my rating, but I rated Scythe 5 stars when we read it for the book club last year. And I don't know if it's because I spent some time away from the characters or if I really just didn't care for how this book overall came to fruition, but I ended up giving Thunderhead a 3 star. Comparatively from book 1 to book 2, it was just not my favorite book. And I think that a lot of the aspects that I really enjoyed in the first book were not present in the second book. So I think that that's a big reason as to why I didn't absolutely love it. But at the same time, I really I had a tough time with the storyline in and of itself. I will say that the last 20 minutes of the audiobook was very chaotic, and crazy, and it definitely made the book worth it, and I will definitely pick up the 3rd book even though it's so chunky. But I feel like the 3rd book is going to be really good because the way that the 2nd book left off, there's just so many things to be desired and so many questions that I'm really curious to see how that ends up. And then for those of you guys that have read some of or the entirety of City of Brass, I would love to know what you guys thought of the characters. I liked the characters. I'm gonna forget all of their names now. Dada, I know that, but where's my book? But what was the main girl's name? Nari. I would love to know what you guys thought of the main characters, Ollie. Just your thoughts on that, because I'm really curious. I think that especially for those that have read the full book, the characters really did grow and change, except for Nari. I don't think that she grew as much as some of the other characters did, but there's definitely an evolution of character development in some of these characters that made me really love them towards the end, so I would love to know you guys' thoughts on that. I loved Dada. Me too. Let's see. I don't think you're alone. I didn't like Thunderhead as much as Scythe. Okay, well, I'm glad that I'm not the only one that felt that way. Maria, I would love to know your rating for Scythe and Thunderhead. I would love to see the comparison, because I feel like most people, the people that I've talked to really enjoyed the 2nd book more than the 1st book. So I just would love to know where my disconnect was. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I love the main character from the beginning. I think that she's a very interesting character that I really enjoyed the fact that even though, you know, she never like cried per se. She did in the towards the end of the book, but she was a very vulnerable person in her inner dialogue, and she wasn't the character that was afraid to care. And I feel like sometimes, especially in fantasy, the women are written in as these hard, badass characters that just like don't care about anything and like don't have any emotions towards things that are happening. They're just like kind of going with the flow. And I really liked that Nari had a lot of emotional basis behind the decisions that she was making, but also she was kind of almost unlikable in some aspects, which I think really helped with like seeing the book through, because I really wanted to see how she would end at the very end and where her allegiances would lie after all of the political stuff that was going down. So really interesting. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but I really liked Ali. I liked him too. I didn't like him in the beginning, but I think it's because his particular perspectives were filled with all of the political intrigue, and I just was not vibing with the political intrigue of the book. But once we get to the portions where all of the characters kind of come together and converge and their perspectives are kind of in alignment, that's when I really like started liking him a lot more. Although I'm very interested to see like at the end of the book what's going to happen with this character, because his character is kind of in limbo and we don't really understand like where his character his character growth is headed and what is going to happen with him as a character. So I'm really interested to see how that comes to fruition. I rated Scythe a solid 4 stars, and I rated Thunderhead a 3. Okay, so still a whole star rating underneath Scythe, which, okay, maybe I don't feel as bad anymore. She's a badass who gives a shit. Yes, exactly. I love that. I agree. I grew to like him more as the story went on. Yes, 100%. But I also think that I grew to love Dada more than Ali, just because you have this, like, I didn't really care for the relationship as they were traveling, but once they got to their location, like, I wanted so much more of Dada than what I got, and I think that was, I was a little disappointed in that aspect, but, like, when they were together, the amount of, like, chemistry that the two characters had and how that was written was really nicely done, but I'm just, like, I don't know how I feel about the ending of this book, and I don't want to spoil too much for those of you guys that haven't read it. I want to spend a little bit more time just talking about the book in its entirety before we go into spoilery stuff. But I don't know. I definitely feel like I got gypped a little bit, just a little bit, based off of like how things ended with his character. But I'm definitely curious to see what happens in book 2, because a lot was left open-ended and a lot was left to question, and I really am curious to see how the book continues. And another thing, I love the writing style, but I'm really curious to see like how much more is going to be evolved in regards to writing when it comes to the second book, because I've heard great things about the trilogy in its entirety, and so I thank God for the audiobook, because I don't think I would have made it through without the audiobook in regards to the writing style. But I also think that for an adult fantasy, like, that's pretty on par. You have the first couple hundred pages that are really like hard to get into, depending on, you know, what you like in regards to reading. For me, it was hard for me to get into because it just is a lot of world building, a lot of political intrigue, a lot of info dumping, in my opinion. So I'm really curious to see how the second book is going to go. Yes, I want to read the next one now. I know, me too. I put it on my list automatically after I finished the book. I'm currently still trying to be better about my book buying ban, but you guys should see the chaos that's going down right here, because it is wild in regards to my book situation. So I have not bought it yet, but I do really want to read it. Since I have read the other two, I'm you've already read the other two, so you're just like trying not to say anything. My husband is currently at a gun show right now in Orange County, and he's texting me. He's like, I want everything. I'm just bubbling with, ooh, just you wait. Yes, I love that. Okay, well, thank you for making me even more excited to read the books. My neighbors are so fucking loud. Oh my gosh. I'm even more excited to read the books now that you're saying that. I'm going to get a lot of information, and I'm excited. I couldn't get my hands on the City of Brass for this month. Still really want to pick it up soon. Yeah, I think that you should definitely read it. After reading the book, I can definitely tell you that it's worth the read, and it's worth chugging through a chunky book. I mean, this is a pretty big book. I think it was like over 500 pages, if I'm not mistaken. Not including the glossary. Yeah, 526 pages. So depending on your like reading, like your normal reading pace and how big of books you read, that's a chunky book. And I was actually surprised that Thunderhead is also 500 pages. It's 504 pages. So I'm like, we read 2 500 plus page books this month. So I was surprised I got through them. Although I did finish Thunderhead this morning, right before the live show. So, but that's just because I was really struggling. I could have finished it days ago, and I just didn't have any inkling to pick it up. I probably will get it as an audiobook, as I didn't buy the first one either. Optional buddy read for April. Maybe. I haven't posted my TBR, but I have quite a few books on my TBR that I have to read. And I'm also buddy reading 2 books, but if I can fit it in, for sure we can buddy read it. A chunky boy. Yes, a chunky boy indeed. Although I also read House of Earth and Blood this month, which was 800 pages. So it was a lot of pages going around. I will say that. I still have another chunky baby to read. Or May. How about we shoot for May? And I will for sure buddy read it with you then. If you're willing to wait that long, for sure, in the bag, I will buddy read that with you. But just remind me, because I'll probably... And has anyone in the chat read House of Earth and Blood? Because I'm like totally repping right now. Seeing as I just finished it, and I'm like, I need it. I want to read it again, but I'm not going to. I promise I'm not going to. Not right now, at least. I'll read it maybe in the middle of the year or next year, depending on if the second book comes out this year. Because if the second book comes out this year, I'm reading it again just to like gear up for book 2 because I'm so excited. Then I also am taking the longest freaking drive of my life today. I have to drive my grandma to Poway. So it's like a 2-hour drive there and a 2-hour drive back. And I'm like, I'm already tired. I don't want to do it. But that's the plan for today. I read it in November. My gosh. November. I can't talk. No. How do you say November? November of 2020. What did you think of it? What was your rating? I would love to know. I read it September last year. I might have to read it at some point, but I have so many others I need to get to. Oh yeah. When you're rereading a book like of that size, like it's a struggle to fit that in, but seeing as it's my favorite book, I have no problem rereading it. But for those of you guys that like it's not your favorite book of all time, like that's a chunky book to reread. You know what I mean? So but I did love it the second time, like probably even more. I still cried. I still had all the feels. But let me know what you guys' ratings were for House of Earth and Blood, because I would love to know. Not that this is a House of Earth and Blood live show, but isn't it always? I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk about it at this point, but I just can't stop. Let's see. Okay, so we've been talking for about 20-ish, almost 20 minutes. So for those of you guys that haven't finished City of Brass, I will let you know that we are probably going to move into a little bit more spoilery talking. I really liked it. Probably a 4 or 4.5 stars. I don't really remember. I'll definitely read book 2. Me too. Gave it 5 stars. Yay! Okay. But yeah, we're gonna jump into a little bit more of a spoilery part of this book. I won't talk in spoilers about Thunderhead because this was not an official book club pick, but I will talk about City of Brass. So for those of you guys that have not finished it, I am giving you guys your forewarning. And for those of you guys that have finished it, please let me know, what did you think about that ending? Because for me, I was shook. Can you, sir? They're so loud up there and it drives me nuts. I think that the ending was my favorite part of this entire book. I was just sitting there like, no, you didn't just do that to me. Like, no freaking way. But they did. And I was like, how could you take away my favoritist? Don't do that to me. But I also know that I think he's going to play a much, much bigger role in book 2. And I'm so excited for that. Like, honestly. So I would love to know you guys' thoughts on the ending of the book, because I'm still not over it. I think that I'm still shook. For real. Yes, shook. There's a reason I need the next one ASAP. Yes. Like, and then Ali now has this wild, living, magical being inside of his soul or something. I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm like, sir? What is happening? And I need answers, is basically what I'm telling you. The ending had me immediately grabbing the second book. I was like, wait, what? I know. I feel like that's the reason why I added it like straight away to my wish list, because I was like, there's no way that I'm going to wait to like 6, 7, 8 months before I figure out what the hell is happening. I was speechless after I finished it. I think I'm still having book hangover from it. Oh, there's nothing better than when a book gives you book hangover. Are you kidding me? Yes, I love that. Yeah, I was looking at it like, mind blown. Who do you like more, Dada or Ali? That is the question. Listen, I love Ali, but Dada wins 100%. I loved his character. I'm really curious to see like more of his character, because he was a lot more powerful than he let on, and he has a lot of secrets, and I don't know if that's going to make me love him more or despise him by the end, but I loved him as a character. He's my favorite character of the entire book. And I also really liked Ollie's brother. I thought that he was just like, he was just so wholesome, and he cared so much for his brother, and he wanted the best for him, and he was willing to like, put himself in the line of fire to like protect his brother, and I loved it. I'm leaning more towards Dada. Agree. 100% agree. I'm hungry, you guys. I should have ate before this. I always do this. I always forget to eat. Simona, I would love to know your answer to that question. Who do you like more, Dada or Ali? I also think that, I forgot her name already. The main chick. Just so many good characters in this book. Yes, for sure. I also thought it was super interesting that, she had no family before this, and she didn't have any cultural background to really follow by. But when she gets that, when she has the opportunity to have somebody in her life that's willing to teach her culture and where she comes from, she wasn't super on board with it, and she wasn't really doing everything that she could to be a part of her past and her lineage. I think that was really interesting, instead of like diving in like I think most people would when they find out that they have this entire secret background, and a very powerful background at that most people would want to fall into that, but she didn't seem to have any inkling to or desire to want to do that, and I'm really curious to see like if that will change in book 2. I am a Dada stan. 1,000,000 trillion, I think that is. I don't know how many zeros is in a trillion. I'm gonna say that's a million. A billion? I don't know. Percent. I agree. He was a fantastic character, and the cave scene gets me every time, and I wanted more for them. I just wanted so much more, and I just didn't get it. Amy, tell me through the ether. Tell me like into my brain if I'm gonna get all the Dada and whatever her name is action that I need, because I feel gypped. I think the way she grew up caused her to not be so trustful of things. Yeah, for sure. I mean, she literally grew up thieving and conning her way to survival, because I mean, she wasn't even really living. She was surviving, and she never really had a life beyond the con. And so for sure, I'm sure she had a lot of trust issues in regards to that. But I think that even having those oh, Amy, I saw that comment. Even having those trust issues, at least in my case, I think I would like fall into something that is more grounded in reality and in the past and in history, especially in my own history. I would want to know like everything and do everything that I could to be a part of that, and she just she was just not having it. And I love that. But I also really question like if she is who they say that she is, because she can't really do all the things that she is supposed to be able to do, and she can't, um, she's not really living up to the potential that everyone else is kind of setting her at. And I'm really curious to see if maybe there's another reason behind that other than this curse that they're saying that is upon her. So I don't know. I really have a lot of questions, and I already miss Ali because apparently he's been banished to the end of time. As much as he's not my favorite character, like, I miss him already. And Dada, don't even get me started. I'm just so sad. Even though he was kind of a butthole at the end, I did not want that for him, okay? But Amy's giving me all the information I need right there that we'll get some more of my man. And because of the hi Mike, I'm good, how are you? Because of the comparisons between, I guess it would really be a thousand nights, or the Arabian Nights classic, but because of the like comparisons with the names and stuff and the storyline, I could not stop picturing Aladdin as Ali, and so the entire time that's all I can see, and freaking Dada as a genie. So it was kind of like an interesting process of reading because my brain was filled with all of these other characters and trying to put them in the slots that they fill in this book, which was really interesting. I can't say anything. I refuse to spoil even a little. I cannot confirm or deny. Okay, I understand. But, you're sending me in my brain, and in my brain I'm already making conclusions to your comments, so thank you for that. And then other than, City of Brass, Thunderhead, what are you guys reading right now? Are you guys reading anything good? Do you have any book recommendations that you want to share with the chat and myself? Please do let me know. I just read 2 very smutty romances recently. I read Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, and everybody was ranting and raving about that book. Everyone was saying, oh, you need to read it. It's such a great age gap romance. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's going to be good. I loved it. I gave it a 5-star. It was fantastic. What else did I read this month? Oh, I finally read Shadow and Bone. That was good. Kind of. I mean, it wasn't my favorite book, but I'm really glad that I read it, and now I'm super excited for the adaptation. So let me know what you guys feel about that. Have you guys watched the trailer? Because the trailer was wild. I'm really excited. Can it be April whatever already so I can watch the first episode? Like, I really want to know. I need answers. Yeah, share with me all of the book goodness. I would love to know what you guys are reading right now and how you guys are feeling. And as you guys know, these live streams are not just specifically for book club books. I like to talk to you guys about everything, so feel free to jump in the chat with whatever you like at any time. My husband is texting me. He wants to buy it all. Finally, my neighbors shut the hell up there. They were driving me nuts. And then, because I'm not going to go into spoilery stuff about Thunderhead, I will kind of talk about my thoughts about the book in a little bit more detail, but not enough to spoil the actual book itself. I'm reading Shadow and Bone 2. I binged the first 2 books this month, and I'm reading Siege and Storm now. I would love to know, like, your thoughts. Do the books... Okay, in my opinion, I gave the first book a 3-star. Do they get better as they go on? Is it worth the read of all 3 books to get to the end? I really love to know, because I really enjoyed Six of Crows. I really struggled with the beginning of Six of Crows and loved the end, and then I really loved the beginning of Shadow and Bone and didn't like the ending. So I don't know where I'm at with these books, but I do really want to love them, so I would love to know if you think it's worth it. But seeing as you're binging it, I would think so, right? I just finished A Torch Against the Night. I'll be binging the whole Shadow and Bone trilogy in April. Yeah, some people are gearing up for this adaptation, which is amazing. I definitely am on the bandwagon. I'm on the train. I don't own the second book though, so like I read the first book and I have the 3rd book, but I don't own the second book. So I'm like, I just need to get that so I can binge the rest of them. But I don't know if I'm gonna have time to actually binge them during this next month because I have a ton of books to read on my TBR for April. So I read Shadow and Bone like a year ago, and I reread it last week. And you reread it, and did you enjoy it? I know that for a lot of people, they read the series years and years and years ago, and people that are rereading it now are not enjoying it as much, or enjoying it more, or liking it just the same. So I would love to know your thoughts. 2 years ago. Dang. That's a long time. The trailer just looked too good. It made me want to read it. Agreed. Totally agree. I read the book first and then I watched the trailer because I didn't want to be spoiled for anything because I didn't know like what they were going to be adding in. But I love the fact that they're also combining Six of Crows. And I don't know if you guys have read Six of Crows, but the scene where they're dropping into the jail, and I was just like, you're going to include that? I mean, I get to see Kaz Brecker. He's my favorite character in the whole Grishaverse world. And so I'm like, don't play with me like this. I'm so excited. And I went through and like looked at the cast, and I think the only two people that I didn't love for the casting of the people that they're playing was Inej and Nina. I thought that they could have been cast a little bit better, but I guess we'll see how it all plays out once they actually get into the show, because I guess, you know, makeup and you know, special effects do everything wonders, but I just didn't care for the people that they cast as those people. So but that's my thoughts on that. I am really excited. There's a lot of what's supposed to be some really good adaptations coming out soon, so I don't really tend to keep up with a lot of the adaptation news, but when it gets buzzed about, then I tend to know a little bit more. But is there any adaptations you guys are looking forward to other than Shadow and Bone that's coming out soon? I would love to know that as well. What else have I heard is coming out? I'm really excited for Dune, even though I haven't read it. I do really want to watch that adaptation. Let's see. I really like the first book, Shadow and Bone, in a YA tropey kind of way. That I understand. I love saying I'm reading, but I failed my March reading. My husband is to blame. He wanted to watch something different on Netflix. We've been binging Winona Earp. I've never heard of that. What kind of show is it? Is it like a contemporary fantasy? What kind of show is that? Six of Crows is one of my first books that I read when I got into reading last year, so it holds a special place in my heart. Yes, reading the sequel next month too. Yeah, I do really want to read Crooked Kingdom. I just don't own it, but I do really want to read it because the second book left off on a huge cliffhanger, and so I'm like, why haven't I read this yet? I read Six of Crows probably 5 or 6 months ago. Bailey, stop. Have any of you guys read or watched Firefly Lane? I know I'm also reading. I'm also watching the adaptation for Big Little Lies. I read the book ages ago. I think I read that in October or something, maybe November, and really enjoyed the book. So the adaptation has been pretty fun to watch. I think that like watching adaptations is really interesting, because I like to see like the changes that they make, because you know they don't always stick to the script, you know, but just see like the creative liberties they take with books. Sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's really not good, so I'm always curious to see how that plays out. But the second book, I was only listening to it via a bad audiobook, so I DNF'd it the first time around, but this time I'm going to get a physical copy to get through it all. That makes sense. When you get a bad audiobook narrator, there's nothing worse than that. And I love audiobooks. Like, I stand audiobooks. And most of the time, I will push through a bad narrator, but it does make a difference. For sure. For sure. But then when you get those audiobooks that are just so chef's kiss amazing, like, nothing better than that. Nothing better. I think still my favorite audiobook I've ever listened to is Daisy Jones and the Six and Illuminate, because I love a full cast audiobook narration. Oh, so good. So freaking good. Let's see. Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom are definitely among my favorite fantasy books ever, so I'm excited for the adaptation. Yes. I wouldn't say that Six of Crows was one of my favorites because it really took me a while to get into, but I can definitely see why it has such a cult following. Like, there are so many people that absolutely love this series, and I can definitely see why. Like, the characters are great, the found family trope is really interesting. You have this like group of just misfits that just work, and I can definitely see why people love it so much. And I'm definitely curious to see like what my feelings are about the series as a whole once I finish the duology. So. The offspring of Lawman Wyatt ERP are cursed to kill demons trapped in a place called Purgatory. Hubby just likes her because she's a hot mess. Okay. I might have to look into that. That sounds right up my alley of things that I like to watch, so I will have to check that one out for sure. And then because this is just a book club situation, we won't be staying on chat for too much longer. However, I do plan on going live sometime this week, hopefully before the end of the month. If not, like one of the first 2 days of the month next week, just to chat with you guys and do some reading shrimps because I miss you. I'm trying to plan ahead and try to do reading sprints once a week. So if you guys are down with that, let me know. And if there's a particular day that you guys would prefer me to do live shows, please do let me know because I would like you guys' input on that. I read Red Rising this year with the audiobook, and I don't know how I would have enjoyed it without the audiobook, but the narrator was absolutely awful. And I ended up giving the book a 2-star. Yeah, narrators make or break, I'm telling you. That's the good and bad thing about audiobooks, I will tell you that. I'm always excited when the author of the book is involved in making the adaptation, so I'm very excited. Very true. It's very true. It's better when it's that way. I'm still waiting to hear more news on the Percy Jackson new adaptation because if they fuck it up again, I'm honestly raging. And Rick Riordan is supposed to have a little bit more to do with this adaptation, so I'm really, 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 really hoping that it's better than the first one because, my lord, did we get gypped the last time. Reading shrimps, yes, I'm excited. I'm so stoked for reading shrimps. Anytime works for me, to be honest. Okay, yay. I'm hoping to do them maybe on Wednesdays because on Wednesdays Isaac goes for a class, and so I can have space to myself and we can chat and laugh and stuff, and then I don't feel bad about not spending time with him because he's not here. So Wednesdays are probably a good day, so I might do one next Wednesday. Probably around the same time. I get off. I actually don't work on Wednesdays as of right now, but if I did, then I would get off at 5, so we'll see. Definitely in the works, planning on it. I need to do my bullet journal from April so that I can get a little bit more organized, but I have been in a slump with bullet journaling as well, so, what is new? I'm back. I'm doing a slow read of Octavia Butler's Clay's Arc, and I'm reading book 4 in the Percy Jackson series. We were just talking about Percy Jackson, so are you enjoying both of them? Welcome back, by the way. I would love to know your thoughts on Octavia Butler's work. I really want to give her a try for sure soon. I have book hangover ever since I finished A Curse of Dark and Lonely a couple weeks ago, and I can't seem to move on from it. Read the second book. Although I will say the second book is not as good as the first. I really, really, really loved A Curse of Dark and Lonely, and what is it? Heart, Soul, Fears, and Broken was good. It just wasn't as good as the first book, and I do have the third book on my TBR for next month, so I'm really interested to see how they finish out the books because I've got a lot of questions, for sure. Oh my god, sorry. I got the Percy Jackson books for my birthday since I really wanted to reread them before the adaptation comes out, and I'm super excited. Yes, I am currently in the middle of a reread. I have been in the middle of a reread since May or April of last year, and I have not picked up the fourth and fifth books in the series, but I do really need to read them ASAP because it should not be that hard, honestly. I don't know why I'm struggling so hard, but I really need to pick them back up because they are such a good series. Does anyone have any news about when the adaptation is actually supposed to come out? Because I would love to know that. I'm really enjoying both books. Yay! Is this your first time reading Percy Jackson, Michelle? Bailey, what the hell are you doing? Is this your first time reading it, or is this a reread for you? I'm always curious to see people's thoughts as they read it for the first time because I read it when I was so young, and it holds a special place in my heart. It's kind of like Harry Potter. They just a lot of the fan base behind Harry Potter is nostalgia. So I would love to know if this is your first time or you're rereading it. I really want to read the third book in the Curse of Dark and Lonely trilogy. I'm so excited. Me too. Honestly, the series itself has been really fun and really interesting to see come together, and I think that it is really, really well done. And so I'm really curious to see how she's going to end out this series because I definitely think that this is a series that took a lot of people by surprise. They weren't expecting to love it as much as they did, and I am definitely in the same bandwagon. I have read a ton of Beauty and the Beast retellings, and so I'm just really glad that this one is really, really good. I really enjoyed City of Brass also. My son ordered me book 2 and 3. Dang, go son! You have a good son right there. And I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. So, so glad. I think there was something mentioned somewhere that a certain Sarah J. Maas went, what? Don't talk to me like that. Are you serious? Which one? Is it House of Earth and Blood? Hold on. I need to look this up now. Sarah J. Maas adaptation. Oh! A Court of Thorns and Roses? Stop it. Stop it. Oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever heard. I really need to read the next two. Oh my gosh, I keep thinking about it every day. Just, you might have to read it before me because I don't want you to miss out on the love that you could have for this series if you wait too long. It's a reread for me. I have read the books with my son when he was little. I still love the books. Okay, yeah. I agree. They are really, really good books for sure. Now I have to read them. Have to read what? A Court of Thorns and Roses? What are we talking about? I did buy, let's see if I can get it out without dropping everything. I did buy A Court of Silver Flames, but can somebody tell me why this book is so large? Like, this is huge. I mean, and I obviously I read House of Earth and Blood, but the rest of the books in the series aren't this big, are they? 756 pages. Oh, my Lord. Lord have mercy. Yes, ACOTAR. Yeah, I'm reading the second book in the series this month, in April, and I'm really excited to be back in this world. My friend Sharon has been bugging me to read the second book for so long, and I had it on a couple of different TBRs and never got around to reading it, so now is the time. I'm ready. But yes, if they're really going to adapt this, okay, the information on this adaptation is new. Like, you must be, like, on top of this, because the top stories is coming from 21 hours ago. Like, this is, like, brand new. Hulu is making a major foray into fantasy space with The Court of Thorns and Roses, a TV show adaptation of the best-selling books by Sarah J. Maas. The project has received a script commitment with specific penalties coming from Ron Moore, who successfully adapted the TV show best-selling book Outlander. Oh my god. You guys, I'm so excited. I hope this comes out soon. Like, literally, this is the best news I've ever received in my entire life. I'm so excited. Oh! I don't think I've ever been so excited about anything in my life. Although I wish they would have adapted House of Earth and Blood because, obviously. But I'm still excited. Sarah J. Maas is the queen, and she deserves nothing but the best. I also, I wish that they would have adapted, the Infernal Devices rather than the Mortal Instruments. I think that would have been a much better adaptation to watch. Is that just me? I'm just going to put it out there in the world, in the ether. I don't think I will survive ACOTAR's adaptation. My heart is beating so fast. Agreed. Like, I'm so beyond excited about this. Like, seriously so excited. I might just reread the first one and move on to the next one right away. I'm also rereading A Court of Silver Flames next month, but it's so big, I need the audiobook. Yes, audiobook that baby up, because that is a big book. It's a chunky bitch. Okay, now I also need to read ACOTAR. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I will say, the first book is good, but I think that the hype around the series is the second book. Everybody loves the second book, adores the second book. It's like the best book in a series ever, which I haven't read yet, so I can't really say whether or not I agree with that, but I did enjoy the first book. I gave it a 5-star. I don't know why I'm saying I liked it a lot, but I'm really excited for book 2 because I've heard nothing but great things. Yes, I agree. The Shadowhunter movie and the show were awful adaptations. I have not watched the show, but the movie was no bueno. No. Yeah, or even like the Last Hours trilogy, which I've heard is like now one of her best of all of the books that she's written in this world, would be a really super awesome adaptation to watch come to fruition, especially because it's like set in like, I think it's the 1900s London. I don't really remember what time period it's set in, but I think that would be really awesome to see such an advanced fantasy world put onto screen with such a historical base time frame, time setting. Does any of that make sense? I don't think that makes sense, but okay. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I would really love to see that adaptation come to light, but I don't think that it would happen, seeing as Cassie's already gotten one adaptation. I don't think they would do another one, but anyways. Yeah, so many good adaptations coming out. Yes, recent. I've only read the first book, so I only know what I know through people talking about the series. And I also did a bad thing, and I was on a live one day, and Clint told me to read a specific chapter of A Court of Mist and Fury, and I was like, bet. And so I read it, and so I know all about Reason, but I actually need to read the series to get a little bit more context of that. I liked the Mortal Instruments TV show, but I had to think of it independently from the books. The books are superior. Yeah, I think that's a good way to think about it as well. Like, just don't compare it to the books, because honestly, though, the books, from what I can remember when I read them the first time, they're not that good either. I think that the Mortal Instruments is probably her weakest series of all 4 of them that she's done so far. So, although, one thing that I would love from Cassie is for her to write something that's not Mortal Instruments. I think that also like comes with a bit of like fear behind it, because she's written in this world for so long, and if she writes something else and it doesn't, blow up, then it's probably going to be a big disappointment for her. But like, I would love to see her write something that isn't Shadowhunter related, because I mean, she has a lot of writing talent. She writes these big ass books people are loving, so it's like she knows how to write. But I would love to see something that's not Shadowhunter related. Bane's character, I do like a good Magnus Bane for sure. I know he has a whole book that I probably should read at some point, but I'm trying to read them in chronological order, based off time frame. Fat finger syndrome? What is that? Fat finger syndrome. You'll have to explain what the hell that means, because I have no idea what that means. But I'm trying to read them in chronological order, so the next book that I would have to read is Chain of Gold. And I got the audiobook, but I got it this month in the time when I was like super busy with all the books that I was reading for Spring Into Reading-a-thon. So very unfortunate that I didn't get to read it, but I will definitely pick it up soon, because I also bought Chain of Iron, and I really want to read that one as well. So yeah, I don't know why I'm buying all of these books that I'm not even close to reading yet, because I haven't finished any of the rest of the series, but it'd be like that. Also, do you guys want to see my book terror down here? Because I ran out of bookshelf space. This is what has become of my bookshelves. They're now double stacked. And this is what my life has become. And I don't know what to do about it. It's driving me nuts. When the TV show Shadowhunters came out, me and my friends were watching every episode, and the next day in school, we would draw ugly little comments making fun of it because it was so bad. That's great. I love that. I only read City of Bones. Would love to read some of her other work, but I feel like I need to read the Mortal Instruments first, but it's just a lot of commitment. I read the Mortal Instruments years and years and years ago. I don't really remember the plot. I remember some of the spoilers, but I don't really remember the plot. But when I decided to pick back up in the Shadowhunter world, I actually started with the Infernal Devices, because that's the first book in chronological order. So if you don't want to make the commitment to Mortal Instruments, I would definitely say pick up Clockwork Angel, because it's a great place to start. And it was really good. I really enjoyed the Infernal Devices overall. They were good books. I left him in the books in the adaptation. My finger too chunky to type a whole sentence. Got it. I was like, what do you mean? I would mostly read them for pure entertainment, though. I only gave the first one 3 stars. Yeah, like I said, I think the Mortal Instruments definitely is her weakest series. So if you want a little bit more Cassie Clare development, I would read the Infernal Devices for sure. Bailey, what are you doing? Get out of the kitchen. You know you're not supposed to be in there. Come here. That's what my bookshelves look like. I can't stop buying books. I know. I'm having a problem. You are itching your back, aren't you? Because I'm supposed to be on a book buying ban, but I can't seem to stop buying books. And every time I try to stop, a new book comes into the store, or I see something on Amazon. I'm like, I need it now, and I'm having a hard time for sure. I'm really struggling, but I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank you, Michelle. I really wanted to read Clockwork Angel, but I took it off my TBR because I found out it was in the same world, but I didn't know the timeline of it. Yeah, for sure. You can read it. You can read it before Mortal Instruments, 100%. If you're reading it in chronological order, that is how they recommend that you start. Which there's plenty. I think there's 3 different ways that you can read these books, and that's just how I chose to start. So, just a little idea for book space. I noticed you can add another row of shelves because you have a little extra space on the bottom shelves. Just a little idea. Yeah, but I would have to find like a spare shelf. And I bought these. These are not the IKEA Billy bookshelves because I know IKEA does sell the shelves separately. But these are the Target ones, and I'm not sure they're the same size. So I don't know if I would be able to find a shelf that would fit that space. If I could, then I would definitely do that because I need the extra space. I have no idea chain of... Oh, I have had chain of glow on my tablet for months. Now chain of iron. OMG. It'd be like that. No, that totally made sense. That totally made sense. I could definitely do that because both the bottom shelf and this shelf are... there's a lot of extra space in between. And that's the reason why I stack them the way that I do at the bottom of the shelves. But, sorry, I got distracted. But, I just would need to find a shelf that would be able to fit in there. OMG, my shelves are like that too. I'm just happy I'm moving soon. I can get bigger shelves. Oh, bless your soul. I wish I could move. My lord, I want to do that. Bailey, you look so regal. What are you staring at? I need to read some more ebooks and stop buying more of them. Agreed. I have so many ebooks in my repertoire of Kindle, and I don't read ebooks very often, so I don't know why I keep buying them. They look very similar to the IKEA shelves. They are. They're very similar to the IKEA shelves, but the IKEA shelves are a bit longer, so the shelves just don't fit. I have my Billy bookcase in the other room, but it's the really skinny Billy bookcase, so that also doesn't help me. Yeah, these are the Target ones. All hail Bailey. Yes. What a queen. What a queen. Oh, hi, Bigley. Yes, my daughter is just the cutest. She's so cute. I love her so much. And honestly, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, we don't deserve dogs. Dogs are the best, and they're so kind to us, and we just don't deserve them. Like literally this morning, she just came and laid on my chest and cuddled with me for an hour, and I'm like, what did I do to deserve you, child? I love you so much. Huh, Billy? Huh, belly girl? You're slipping, girl. You're slipping. You want to get down? You want to get down? Okay, you can go. Oh, it's okay. It's a common mistake. I think because she does kind of look like a boy, and she doesn't have any collar on or anything like that. So I haven't bought a single book in 6 months. What do you mean? How? How did you do that? I would love to know. What is your secret? Because I can't stop buying them. Bailey, do you not know where to put your paws? Are you okay? We don't deserve dogs. It's true. We don't. We really don't. They really are the best. Huh, Bailey? And I will say that even though she loves me to pieces, she is such a daddy's girl. She loves my husband so much. And I'm like, I feed you. I take you on walks. I give you all of the love in the world, and you still love him more. I don't understand. All my bookshelves come from Target. Agreed. They are really good, and they last quite a long time. Like, they hold up with the weight. I don't have any issues with them. But the Billy bookcases are also a bit taller, and so you can get a little bit more shelf space in there. So when I move, I will probably keep these two, but I will switch back over to Billy bookshelves. They didn't have them at IKEA when I went to go buy my bookshelves. So sad life. My secret is not having money. I love that. It's literally hilarious. And that would be my secret too, except for I just don't care. I'm lucky my husband loves me because he hasn't told me to stop buying books yet. It's an addiction for a reason, you guys. I didn't say I was proud of it, but it happens. It happens. Bailey, you just gonna sit here with me? Why are you so sweet to me? Why do you love me so? Why do you love me so? I'm literally just sitting here staring at my dog. This is my life. I love you. Celia, same. Gotta love being a full-time student doing a global panini. A global panini. I'm purely living off student loans without any other income, so I have to be responsible. I love that for you. I love that for you. I need better self-control, and I could learn a thing or two from you, Celia, for sure. I love dogs. I grew up with dogs in the house. My dog just passed away. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh my gosh. That's so sad. I mean, I can imagine losing my dog. So I cannot. I can't even imagine. I'm so sorry. And Bailey is sorry too, humbly. Bailey is actually so cute right now. Like, what the heck? How? I know. She's adorable. She can't seem to get her grip on my pants. She keeps sliding down. But other than that, she's adorable. I love it when you have Bailey on lives. Oh, me too. She hates it, but I love it. I'll take her any way I can get her. Huh, babe? Huh, babe? Bailey, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? No? Yes? Okay. Now I want a panini. You do love me, huh? Get down. Or lay down, too. Whatever works. That works. Thanks. Yeah, seriously, Michelle, that's just, that hurts my heart for you. My prayers are going out to you and your family. Now I want a panini. You and me both. I had one during my whole childhood. She was a guardian at all times. Yes. Oh, dogs are the best. Trying to convince my husband that we need another one. Bailey, you're just like right in front of my face. This is the Bailey show now, guys. Bailey runs this. It's her live stream. No? You don't want it to be your live stream? I think. Hi, Steph. How are you? This is Bailey's live show. I don't run anything here. She's doing all of the running as of now. I hope you're doing well, Steph. I love you so much. I do. I love you. I love you. All right, my dudes. I know Steph just got here, but I do have to drive quite a ways today, so I'm going to go soon. Not right this second, but probably in the next 10-15 minutes or so, where I'm going to call it quits just because I need to get my dog ready and myself ready to drive way longer than I ever want to. So I'm really not looking forward to this. Okay, you got to get down now. Love you. Oh, don't be sad. Don't give me puppy dog eyes. I don't like that. Steph, how are you doing? Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like this is like been February was a weird month, and like March is still weird. Like I wish I could understand like what is going on in my headspace, because I can't freaking figure it out. But it's been a weird couple months. You're welcome, Marie. Thank you for stopping by. Damn, just missed this. Glad I can catch the tail end though. Yes, I'm glad you stopped by. Yeah, we were talking about City of Brass, a little bit of Thunderhead, and now we're just chatting. Now we're just chit-chatting. Talking about books and adaptations, and that's pretty much it. Books and adaptations. Steph, I don't know if you're a Sarah J. Maas fan, but we just found out good news that A Court of Thorns and Roses is getting an adaptation, and I could not be happier for anything else in my entire life. Give Bailey hugs and kisses for me. Okay, come here. Come here. Come here. Michelle wants me to give you hugs and kisses. So come here. I gotta give you hugs. Bailey hugs. Yes. And kisses. Yes. There we go. There we go. Just for Michelle. Looking forward to your April TBR video, and thanks for doing this. Nice catching up on books and chatting again. Yes, thank you guys for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I did hear that. I want you to read the series as I have only read the first two, and I stan for sure. You and me both. You and me both. Yes, all the hugs and kisses for little Bailey. My puppy says hi too. Bailey! Eleanor's puppy says hi. Are you gonna say hi? Say hi. Don't let me. You're weird. Can you get off me now? Thanks. Every time I put her on the floor, she just comes back and stares at me. Also, the one on Netflix is really good so far if we're talking about adaptations. The one by John Mars. I really want to read that book, and I've heard that the book is really good and the adaptation is good. Ugh, I really want to read it now. I have no memory of this moment where I got the Sarah J. Maas tidbit. Oh, dang. And that happens to me all the time. Like, things pop into my head. I'm like, where did I even learn that? But I'm glad that you knew it, because thank you for doing that. You're welcome. Bailey enjoyed it. She said thank you for requesting it. Also, I have a really random question. For those of you guys that have dogs or have had dogs, do you guys talk through your dog? Like in the morning, Bailey got up and she looked at me and I was talking for her. Like, she was telling me good morning and I was like having a conversation with my dog that doesn't actually speak. Marie, let's not talk about that, because I will be so sad when I find out that it's not happening, because I know it's not happening, but I really, 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 really hope that it happens at some point. Maybe like once the series is more defined and there's more of like, you know, a basis behind what the series is, then we can get an adaptation. Listen, if I had a production company, I would put that shit together right now. Right now. I do this with my cat. Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Bailey, no. I'm glad I'm not the only one that does this, because I feel weird. Me and my husband will have dog conversations. Like, I will talk to her like she's talking to him all the time, and then I look at him and I'm like, we're strange individuals. But I'm glad I'm not the only one. Oh yeah, I talk to my dog all the time. Oh well, yes. I literally talk to my dogs every day, and I believe they know exactly what I'm saying. Yes, for sure. Oh yeah. I will have like full adult conversations with Bailey about life, and she knows, right, Bailey? She just wagged her tail at me, and so I'm taking that as a yes. Yes, exactly, baby. I know. You're so sweet. Bailey, I don't know why you don't just run the streams. Obviously, they love you, and you should just run them all the time. What do you think? Good idea? That's what I thought. I would do that all the time, even when Midnight and my son would... I love that! I used to do it with my cats, too. I think my cat does. He talks all the time. Every time I talk to him, he will respond, oh, you have a smart cat. One time, okay, this is kind of embarrassing, but one time I was sitting with my dog, and I was like, Bailey, I have to have a serious conversation with you, and I promise I won't tell anybody. But if you can talk, say it right now, and I swear I won't tell anybody ever. But she didn't say anything. But I did have that. I sat her down and I was like, please just tell me if you can talk to me. She didn't say anything. I think she's still keeping it a secret, because I honestly think she can. I watch too many movies where dogs have literal speech abilities, and I know that she can do it. She's just keeping me out of the loop, and I don't appreciate it. For the people that are jumping on the stream right now, they're like, what the fuck is she talking about? This bitch is loony. But she didn't say anything. I'm dead. Yeah. That's how I felt too. Dead. Inside. But even if she did say anything, I wouldn't tell you guys, because I promised. I'm not about to break my promise. Huh, Bailey? I wouldn't tell them. You want to talk right now? Didn't work. It did not work. Alright, guys. I'm going to go and stop being weird on this stream, talking about my conversations with my dog. But I love you all very, very much. I will do a actual, for sure, reading shrimp this week. Probably on Wednesday. So maybe she did say something. The world may never know. But like I said, I will do an actual like reading shrimp where we can sit down and get some books read next week. Hopefully, I think that's like the actual start of April. So that'll be a good time to kick off some sprints. Let me check the date on that. Oh no. The month starts on Thursday, but Wednesday will be fine, and we'll chat, and we'll get some last minute monthly reading done, and we'll kick off our April strong and good. And I love you all very much. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting book stuff with me. And I hope you guys will join me for next month. Next month we're reading Furyborn by Claire Legrand. And I will leave all of that information in the Discord and in the description below when I'm able to do so. But bye. Love you. Love you. Love you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.